Alrighty guys, so thank you guys very much for all of your comments on my last video, Qaaman's birthday wishes. And today's video is going to be a video request from Lone Wolf 7007. And he wanted me to make a video about Krillin, Tien, and Yamcha, and who would be the most useful out of those three if they continue to train. Now, I interpreted this as being who is the strongest out of those three warriors being the most useful. Now, I am aware that Oob is actually the strongest human of all, but today's video is going to be about who is the strongest of those three characters from Dragon Ball, essentially meaning who's the strongest human until Oob arrived. So, let's first start off by saying that Yamcha is not in this because we all know that Yamcha is by far the weakest out of the three of them and he's already kicked out of this conversation. So in reality, this contest is between Krillin and Tien, the two ball-headed warriors. Now, a friend of mine, Black and Fist, once told me that Krillin was a lot stronger than Tien because he got his hidden potential unlocked by the Elder Kai on planet Namek, therefore making it easier for him to get stronger, which basically made him stronger. But I, on the other hand, said that that's not enough. I also said that I think that hard work overall would make Tien a lot stronger than Krillin, and let me explain to you guys why. So let's first start off by saying that Tien was actually lasted the longest on King Kai's planet, all the way until they revived him with the Namekian Dragon Balls on Earth. In addition to this, Tien actually managed to hold his own against the Guinea Force, but I will point out that this is filler, so this didn't actually happen in the manga, but it's a good illustration to show that Tien got quite a bit stronger training with King Kai for so long. In addition to this, after this arc, Krillin was seen with Marin carrying her shopping supplies, which basically means that he basically didn't train after the Frieza arc, and he was basically slacking off being a typical ladies' man that he always wanted to be. So, we can safely assume that during this time where Krillin was basically slacking, Tien was training in isolation with Chaozu as he wasn't seen as he usually is. Now, let's move on to the Garlic Jr. arc, in which we saw that Krillin actually fought against the Spice Boys in Garlic Jr., and some may say that Krillin got a lot stronger fighting against the Spice Boys, although he isn't a Saiyan and he wouldn't get the typical Zenkai boost. So that's one way that one may think that Krillin was a little bit stronger than Tien at this point. This, in addition to the fact that Yamcha in the Buu Saga actually told Marin when she was afraid that Krillin would get beat up by Pintar, that Krillin was the strongest human of all. Now, I want to point out to you guys that in the Dragon Ball Daishenzu files, it's proven that Tien actually isn't a human. So, despite all of this, it may be that the editors didn't consider Tien a human, and that's the reason why they didn't put him in this conversation, or it can simply be a plot hole that they forgot to mention. Now, let's move on to the fact that Tien was actually already stronger than Krillin ever since Dragon Ball. At some point in Dragon Ball, Tien was actually stronger than Goku, which is why he won the 23rd Martial Arts Tournament. In addition to this, we also have to point out the fact that Bulma used her scouter once to determine the power levels of the Z-Warriors. She found that Krillin's power level was 206, which is exactly the same as it was in both the manga and the anime. When asked to look at the Z-Warriors around the Earth, she found that Tien had a power level of 250 and Yamcha had a power level of 177. So, I also wanted to prove to you guys that Tien actually managed to hold his own a little bit against Nappa, even though Nappa was holding back once Chaozu was killed, with one arm. Now, this is completely different from Krillin on the other hand, where Tien actually managed to hold his own, and when Krillin got a slight blast thrown at him, he was basically brushed aside after really taking almost no injuries earlier on. So with that said, you can say that the fight against Nappa made a significant impact on who is stronger between the two. Now, we also see in the Buu Saga that Tien looks completely different. It can be implied that during those 7 years that he also trained in isolation with Chaozu once again, which is why he seemed to be a lot stronger, being able to deflect Majin Buu's blast. Now, I hope you guys have learned today in this video that Tien is probably the strongest Z warrior of all. I'm not saying it is, but he's the strongest human of all, I meant to say, sorry. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe, and remember to have a great day, guys.